What this is, oh wait, I got this one in my hand. I want to thank y'all for coming out here today. This is a special event. We do these types of events as often as we possibly can, and this is what these type of events are. Well, you get several things with these types of events. This is an event for teachers. All right. This is an opportunity to well, several things. So let me just go ahead and start. I would have gave you the formal introduction, but I'm passing over all that. And so on. Hopefully you guys will be here tomorrow as well. We're going to break this stage into two. It's going to get real raw. I just came out the studio. I got all types of stuff to say. So that's going to happen tomorrow. But this introduction was called An Introduction to Hip Hop. This is for teachers specifically. Now, of course, anybody can listen to this or watch this and get something out of it. But you'll notice that the point to this is the preservation of hip hop, the expansion of hip hop as culture. And not many people get a chance to really get this kind of information. You're in a real special situation right now. And I'm not just saying that in that sense. You know, everybody thinks their event is special. But in what I'm giving you here today is an introduction to something that in about 5 years is going to be one of the hottest professions in the world. It's called the teaching of hip hop. Universities are already on this. They're already, I got a hip hop course, so we're teaching hip hop over here. But nobody knows what they're teaching. And I don't say that critically, it's the truth. Out of all the subjects that you can teach, out of all the subjects that the human mind can know, education, knowledge, teaching, these things rely on facts. These things you can't just make up. And this is what we're going to talk about today. When you leave here, you're going to be a scholar. And imagine that in about an hour, about 2 hours, you're going to be a scholar. What I'm going to teach you here is going to open your mind to the possibilities of not only hip hop, but you as a hip hop teacher. This is a new profession in the world. This is the point. This is a new profession. And people are trying to cash in on it. They're trying to take it. They're trying to colonize it. They're trying to put it in their universities. But the problem is that they're not authentic. So they don't have the actual knowledge. And this is a great thing. Because like I said, you can plagiarize a whole lot of stuff, but you can't plagiarize culture. You can't plagiarize that. You can try. I mean, of course, they do it all the time. But the real scholarship, like when you really get down to it, it's the architects of the culture that have the knowledge of that culture. So Yale and Harvard and Spelman or whoever, not Spelman, Yale, Harvard, Columbia, NYU, UCLA, these people, Stanford, these people all have hip hop courses. And with all due respect, I mean, I respect their courses, I do. Because anybody trying to teach hip hop, no question, I have to give that some kind of gratitude. But if you are a professional educator and you teaching kids about Biggie's lyrics and Tupac's impact on society, you calling that a hip hop course? I'm sorry. That's not going to fly in front of the architects. Now, those of us that built the culture have the knowledge of the culture. And this is the distinctions we have to come to at the very beginning of this talk. We're not talking about rappers today. We're not talking about DJs. We're talking about hip hop. Let me say that again. We're not talking about nobody's contribution to hip hop. We're not talking about no record sales. We're not talking about who did what and this and that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about hip hop. The thing that got everybody rich. The thing that got everybody popular. The thing that went through the hood and had us popping it up. That thing is what we talking about. So now, let's get into this. And again, it's going to be pretty intense. I'm going to run through this very quickly because it's a lot of information and we have to read it. Because again, this is a scholarly situation we're dealing with. I actually chopped it down. So this is an introduction. And so, as you can see, the B-boy on the front. If your teacher teaching you does not have a B-boy somewhere around, you should be questioning that. Peace and welcome. Let me read this here this way as well. By the way, this presentation is part of your class today. If you're interested in having this, the PowerPoint, if you're interested in having the PowerPoint, check Isaac at the merch table. Leave your name, address, email. You know, somebody email it to you. That's how we're going to get it to you. We're going to email you this. So if you want it, just leave your name and address, email address, and we'll send you this presentation. One of the values to you having this is that you can teach what I'm about to give you here. You can teach this yourself. Okay? Your teaching of hip hop is the preservation of it. So we have no problem with you taking this information and teaching it yourself. Spread the information. It's the truth regarding our culture. Peace and welcome to an introduction to hip hop. Yeah. When Socrates was asked about the concept of democracy, he was famously quoted as saying, quote, "The problem with democracy is that the opinions of the ignorant and the unthinking carry equal weight with those of the learned and the thoughtful," end quote. The idea here is that while democracy promotes the right of everyone's voice in a society to be heard, Socrates suggests that if everyone is given the opportunity to speak openly and freely about subjects they may know nothing about, those with the actual knowledge of a certain subject can often go unheard in this kind of society. Ponder that for a minute. Yes, I am KRS-One, knowledge reigning supreme over nearly everyone. I am hip-hop's first teacher, its first philosopher, or rather Sophie. We'll get into that later. I say this not as some kind of resume or even as some kind of self-aggrandizement, but to make a distinction at the top of our study and to protect our cultural heritage. This is the reason why you state who you are. Not for, to be hype or whatever. Like I said, self-aggrandizement. But we have now learned over 50 years of hip-hop that if you don't say what you did and who you are, others are sure to come right in and actually take your place. Like, it's a weird thing. Some of you might not be able to really grasp what I'm saying, but when you have, like, say, you have a name, like, say, my name is Jazzy J. And then somebody comes out with the same name. So it's like, and then also tries to take credit for the same thing. Oh, I did this. Or, oh man, well, I was standing next to the guy that did it. I was over here. Why? Because the pioneers did not step up and say, I did this. I'm responsible for that. Because they were trying to be humble. They were saying, look, I'm not running around telling everybody what I did. You know what I did, and we all did. In the hood, we all knew what Grandmaster Flash did. But here comes Toshiba and Panasonic, and not to diss them, but the truth is true. They took what Grandmaster Flash invented and made billions. You go back to Flash. Flash said, look, I was just doing my thing, man. I was just being me. I'm not running after these people, lawsuits and all that. I gave it freely, cut, mixing, and scratching. Billion-dollar industry, just that alone, Flash said 9. Everybody don't have to know that.